Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. All about nutrition from your favorite dietitian. Everything you need to digest in your mind. Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. Making you healthier one bite at a time. With Tony. Woo.
Hello, and welcome to the Tips with Tony podcast. I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time. This episode, we are going to talk about ways to increase your energy. I'm not sure if it's because we're looking at screens more, if because the weather's getting darker and it's getting darker out earlier, if there's just more gloomy days, if we're just confined to, one small space because of COVID, we're not going into the office, maybe you're not in well-lit areas. I mean, there's many reasons why our energy might be dipped or you're just feeling extra tired and extra fatigued. This episode, I really wanted to kind of go a little deeper and really kind of talk about the many areas in which you can help increase your energy. We all want more energy because when we have more energy, we're in a better mood, we're more productive, we just feel good overall. We're more present with those that we love or whatever tasks we have ahead of us. We do them with more ease and things just work out so much better. Energy is amazing. And there's a difference between physical energy and emotional energy. And in this episode, I want to kind of talk about both of those things. And so we'll start with just the idea in general of where we invest our energy and asking, is there a return on that investment? So when we work out, we need to expend energy. However, the return on that investment is often we actually get more energy unless we're overtraining into exhaustion. The difference is we need to then fuel to get more energy. But we often feel better, we feel more confident, and there's a return on that investment. So we're always giving our energy. We're giving our energy into our work, into our loved ones, into our children, into the way that we cook, we clean, all of those things. We're always expending energy. And as much as we would love to be able to go and never need to rest, we do. And so we need physical rest, but we also need emotional or spiritual rest, or we need things to kind of refill our cup. All right. So I guess what we could start with is kind of the more obvious things that people are probably thinking, which, if you're feeling tired, could be that you just didn't get enough sleep last night. So sticking to a sleep schedule, get rid of kind of the more, we'll go through these quickly, the very obvious answers, which is just getting more sleep. But what people don't know is that, believe it or not, going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time every morning can actually help you feel more rested than kind of, even if you get 7 to 8 hours a night and it's kind of all over the place, it might feel a little bit all over the place, which is the predictability is what our bodies really like and really enjoy. So that might not be feasible with your work schedule, but if you can, try to get to bed around the same time every night and wake up around the same time every morning. That would be ideal. Other things that you're probably thinking of is diet. So everything from, just making sure you're eating more nutrient-dense foods, less sugar-laden foods, less foods that are high in real fried foods, super heavy meals. Very, very large meals can make you feel sluggish. So eating kind of smaller meals throughout the day can maybe keep your energy up. Once again, everyone's schedule's different. Everyone's likes and dislikes are different. So it's just a suggestion to maybe kind of have more mini meals rather than really, really large meals at one time. That may help with your energy. But obviously the quality of the food is going to be really helpful. So making sure you're consuming carbohydrates. So a mixture of simple carbs, choosing more complex carbs as well. And, obviously avoiding, caffeine is a really, really great thing, right? But if we have too much caffeine too late in the day, say after 2 p.m., chances are it's going to affect our sleep and it's going to make us feel tired. Other beverages that we want to pay attention to is alcohol. Too much alcohol can affect your REM cycle and it also can make you feel fatigued just because it's actually very dehydrating. It's a lot more dehydrating than coffee or tea or anything like that. So that's something to pay attention to as well. And then just to kind of throw on there, staying hydrated with water. Sometimes we're tired and we're just thirsty. And so maybe making sure you're drinking enough water throughout the day as well. So sleep, diet, and then I will go with movement. Those are like your pretty basic things that when you notice when someone just chooses to commit to healthier living or to even improve their diet a little bit, and they start to take care of themselves, their energy goes up. And that's what they say. And that's the reasons behind why they do it. So it's really, really important for us to get moving throughout the day. You don't need to do high intensity workouts. You don't need to push yourself. Just honestly going for a walk is enough to kind of boost your energy. So if you ever notice you're like sitting a lot, you're staring at the screen a lot, just getting up and going for a walk is super helpful. All right. So those I think are like the pretty obvious things. Now I wanted to really talk about the other things that are probably pulling from your energy and the things that we can take a deeper look at once you maybe have your nutrition under control, your sleep and your movement, you're doing all of those things, okay? And this is something I recently have been working on. I've been sharing it a lot on social media about how I started watching The Home Edit on Netflix, and it's literally changed my life. And I'm so much more organized. Actually, currently, as I'm recording this, I've rearranged my room, my bedroom, which is also my office, which is also where I do my podcasting, where it's also where I coach my clients, where it's also where I write my book. And it's like a really universal room. And as you can imagine, I need a clean space, an organized space to really, really function and be creative and be able to stay focused in this room. So having a clean space is so important in just the way that I think. And then also too, like the little itty bitty frustrations that we don't recognize that we come across on a daily basis, that if we had just proactively chose to maybe, do the dishes before we went to sleep, so we didn't have to look for a fork in the morning, or we intentionally did our laundry on the weekend, so we didn't have to look for socks to do our workout. Like these little things, they really, really do matter. So making sure you have a clean and organized space, chances are will help really lift your energy. So even though, it expends energy. So like this weekend, I spent like half of Saturday, my sister came over, or it was Sunday. My sister slept over. She was super helpful. She actually loves organizing. I don't love it, but I love the aftermath of it now that I'm, now a new, like a recovering messy person, I like to say. It's been really great. And so we spent the time to organize. And so, we're expending energy, but the satisfaction, the feeling, waking up to this clear space where now I can, really stretch my arms if I need to from my desk. It's really, really awesome. So keeping a clean space, a clear, organized space is going to definitely help with your energy. Now, the other things that you may have heard of before are things like breathing and meditation. I know I talk about them a lot, but more so the breathing aspect. Meditation is great for kind of clearing your mind, grounding yourself and all of that. But believe it or not, there's different types of meditation. And there's certain breathing exercises that can really help rejuvenate. And I'm not a meditation instructor. I'm not a yoga instructor. I'm not an expert in this at all. I've only practiced it myself. And there's one meditation or breathing exercise in particular that I really, really like. And I don't know the name. I'm like, this is once again, it's something I do, but I don't like practice in the sense of like, I know all the names and terms and I'm not the expert in this field. So I'll just share. It's like, you take your middle index finger, you hold over your right nostril, breathe in through your left nostril. Then you take your thumb and you hold over your left nostril, and then you breathe out your right, and you alternate like that. And that is so powerful. And then also too, just taking big, deep belly breaths. We often take breaths just on our upper torso, breathing in all the way into your belly, out through your mouth, or even out through your nose, is really, really going to help with our energy. And very often, that's why you hear so many powerful things about yoga, because yoga usually incorporates some meditation, some breathing, breath work, and then also just stretching and getting the blood flowing throughout your body. So getting all that lactic acid that builds up to really just move and your blood flowing. That's how we transport oxygen throughout the body, which is going to help with your energy. So that's super, super helpful. Now, what we didn't talk about is like these are the things that we could be doing, right? But then we also want to think about what are we doing that we don't want to be doing, right? So What are those things that are pulling from our energy, but not giving anything back? And so some of this might not be feasible for you to change or edit, but I'm still going to say it anyway. So for example, if you are currently in a job that you hate, and you spend 40 plus hours doing a job that you literally can't stand, or maybe it's not that you can't stand it, but you have no passion for it, right? It's kind of just like, you clock in, you clock out, right? You sign in, you sign out. Kind of just like wait for the clock to go be done so you can go and do something else, right? So making sure that you're engaging in things that make you feel like you have purpose are really, really powerful. And because if you're not doing that, you're going to be expending all this energy and nothing's going to give it back to you. So if you do purposeful work, it's going to feel worth it to you. And all this energy that you expend, you're going to get it back in just gratification. Right. And just feeling really good about who you are and what you're doing and how you're helping others. So with that, if you really can't get out of this role that you're in a certain job or setting that you're in, then consider volunteering. I know it's a little bit challenging now with COVID, but I actually have a client, she just shared this with me and I thought it was great. She volunteers at an animal shelter, so you don't have to worry about getting COVID from dogs or cats, right? So being able to bring joy to, and that probably brings you joy. I don't know about you, but I love animals. So something like that would be a good example, or volunteering at like maybe donating some of your food, or honestly through cleaning my whole apartment and everything, I've been donating a lot of clothes and shoes. I even went through my DVDs, and actually Michelle Lee, she was just on the podcast, and she made a great recommendation for me to donate my DVDs to a battered women's shelter, because they often don't have fancy Wi-Fi and all of that stuff, but they will have a DVD player even in their common area, or at least in their rooms or something like that. And so I thought that was a great idea. So I'm going to donate those there. And so just finding ways to help others in a way that genuinely feels good to you, I think is going to be really helpful with your energy. The other thing that we want to be thinking about is, are we saying yes to things that do not serve us? Are we committing to, as much as we're in COVID, there are, more social things, even though they're socially distant, there are more events, more people fortunately aren't getting sick. They are out and about, and, things are kind of back in action. And so maybe you're saying yes to way too many things on your weekends, when your weekends are that time where you're supposed to recharge. So maybe it's just learning to say no to things more, or not right now, and just being okay with not having a bazillion commitments on your calendar, right? You need that time for you to slow down, to recharge. And so learn to say no, because if you don't, you're going to be continuously feeling just absolutely drained. Okay. And then with that is, if you can't say no, so maybe you do have these commitments that you have to be at, then delegate some tasks and ask for help. I can't express to you enough how much my business transformed and changed when I gave tasks like creating infographics that for my Instagram. I still write the captions, but I had my interns create the infographics. I have another intern upload my blog on my website. I have my assistant, who's incredibly amazing, who took over the Facebook group when I was taking a break from social media. She also helps. I tell her, what to write. I write it out, but I tell her what to post for my emails that go out twice a week. I have this podcast that you're listening to right now. I hired someone to add the intro and the outro and actually upload it onto iTunes and all the other platforms that you're listening to this on. And honestly, I could do all of those things myself. I 100% can. But I rather spend my time and energy connecting with my clients, connecting with you guys on my stories, connecting with you here, talking and doing the things that I love and enjoy. And although the other stuff, it's not that I'm not good at it, it doesn't bring me as much joy as those other things do. So I can delegate those things. I can ask for help. In my home, when unfortunately my boyfriend's very helpful. So it's not a fight. So I don't know if this is challenging when we're at, but I'll usually say, like, I said I was going to do the laundry this week, but please, do you mind doing it? And he'll do it. Or, there'll be dishes in the sink. And like I said, I don't like waking up in the morning and having dishes in the sink, because that means that I can't find a fork, and I like to eat in the morning. So, and I don't want to have to do dishes and all that. I want to be able to just wake up and stick to my morning routine. So I'll ask him to do the dishes if I rather go to sleep. And so all those things. So ask for help, delegate. It's super, super important. And by doing all those things, right? By delegating, asking for help, saying no to things that really don't serve you, it allows space for you to engage in the things that you enjoy. And maybe you don't know what that is because you're so busy taking care of everybody else. But if you create that space, you will start to explore what you enjoy. Maybe you'll start reading more. Maybe you'll start learning to crochet. Maybe you'll be taking longer walks. Maybe you'll learn that you are very artsy and you love to paint. Whatever it is, if we do more of those things that feel really good to us and they don't feel like work, because everything else we just kind of talked about really feels like work, feels like obligation, feels like we got to do it, we need to do it. If we can expend more of our time not feeling like we're pressured on a time schedule, crunch, and we have a little bit of space to be creative, to breathe, and we do more of those things that bring us joy, our energy is going to skyrocket. It's really, really going to go up. So a lot of this stuff we talked about is really kind of taking that time for you and taking that space for you, asking for help when you need it. And I will just say that the last thing I will say that we didn't talk about in the very beginning, but I think is important, are your relationships. You guys, I know, and this is a little bit harder. All these other things are more of like what are called your low-hanging fruits, because they're a little bit more in your control. You can be more in charge of them. But when it comes to relationships, you might be in a relationship, that's not a romantic relationship. It could be, but it could be a friendship. It could be a coworker. It could be a boss. It could be a cousin, an aunt, an uncle, a sister, a brother. There's so many different types of relationships. And I think that if you are continuously, it could be a social group, maybe something that you're on, like a Facebook group, or people you follow on social media or something like that. Any sort of relationship where you have contact, these people, their energy is influencing you. Okay, so if you're in a negative relationship or even some neutral relationships, maybe your circle of friends, maybe you want to be an entrepreneur and everyone you hang out with works a 9 to 5. That's totally fine. But if you truly want to be an entrepreneur and you need that to spark your energy, to put some fire under your butt, to make you feel passionate about it, then you gotta, not that you can't be friends with those people, but just find new friends as well. Find those people, spend more time with those people that are doing what you want to be doing. Right? And this is a bonus. So I know I said this is 10 plus ways to increase your energy. I think this is like 12 or 13. But I think the other thing that people don't recognize is when you choose to invest in yourself, into something you truly believe in that is going to make you a better person, your energy skyrockets. I literally just did it this morning. I am so excited. If you don't know who Chris and Lori Harder are, you definitely want to give them a look on Instagram. Lori Harder is the author of the book called A Tribe Called Bliss. She has her podcast, and Chris Harder has his podcast as well. They are very successful entrepreneurs, and I've just decided to make a very, very, very large investment to help guarantee my success for 2021. I believe in myself. I know for a fact my business has only grown since it started. It's going to keep growing in 2021, but I want someone to keep me accountable. I want new, fresh ideas. And most importantly, why I'm bringing this up today is because I want the energy of the room when I meet with them in person, when I meet the 11 other people that have joined the similar program that I have, the people who really are probably making more of an impact in the world, more money in the world, more of everything in the world, who might have been an entrepreneur for longer than I have and all that stuff. I know that being in the same room as them, that alone for 3 days is enough for me. It's already exciting to me. I'm looking forward to getting on a call with Chris and Lori and planning out and mapping out my 2021. I'm looking forward to booking this ticket and to going to Arizona. I am looking forward to the group calls that follow. I am looking forward to having specific tasks for me to work on because I know what I want to do, but I love knowing that other people are going to cheer me on, and I love seeing other people who want to do even more or are, up and coming and are on the same playing field, if not further than where I currently am. That inspires me. That excites me. That gives me energy rather than going through the day-to-day and the mundane. I love having something to look forward to, and I love having relationships and being a part of a group that truly gets me, that truly understands me, and that really wants what's best for me. All right. So those are the many ways for you to increase your energy. If you are feeling stuck, tired, drained, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and you really are just completely burnt out, I highly, highly recommend that not only do you take the tips from this podcast, but if you're specifically looking to improve your nutrition, commit to healthier living, and you really want to have just like that endless amount of energy that's just, you can constantly give, but you're also getting it back and you just feel good overall, then I highly recommend you go to www.tipswithtony.com/coaching to fill out an application to work with me one-on-one. I was not taking new clients in the month of October. You're hearing this in November 2020. I am reopening my enrollment to work with me one-on-one. There are limited spots, but I highly recommend that you apply now so we can enter 2021 together with the same amount of energy. If you just want to have good vibes, a good time, someone who gets you, understands you, connects with you, wants what's best for you, then I highly recommend my nutrition program. It is for that person who feels stuck, who feels like they have a ton of weight to lose, they don't even know where to begin, overwhelmed, inundated, really just wanting to not only lose weight, but more importantly, heal their relationship with food so they can come to peace with food. They no longer have to feel anxious around it, and they truly, truly understand what food can do for their body rather than giving it that fear. Okay. So if that is you, do not wait. Go to www.tipswithtony.com/coaching to apply today. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, tipswithtony@gmail.com. All right, guys, that is it from me today. Thank you so much for listening. As always, I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time.